Hi everyone, this is Tila from ModWatch, and I just wanted to review and go over how to report an injury. This is what it should look like, something similar to this when you first log in after you enter your credentials. And if you'd like to report an injury, you're going to go up here to the left upper side and select Report an Injury button. From there, you're going to get a pop-up that's just confirming that you're in the right location. So if you only have access to your location, then it should say the right facility name on there. If you have multiple locations that you might be reporting for, then you would select the right one from the drop-down and just confirm that it's correct and select OK. From here, it's going to bring you to the first tab of our incident report, which is the employee information. So I'm going to put the first thing to do is to put in the information about this employee who is injured. I would select on my binoculars just to check to see if this employee is already in the system, so I don't have to enter in his information manually. And by putting in the first few letters of the employee's either first, last, or middle name, I'll get automatically it will pop up anything that has those letters in it. So if the employee is in my list and is in the system, their name should show up here, and you could just click on it and all these fields will populate. So if the employee is in there, search for the name from the binoculars, select the employee you're looking for, and that's all you have to do. Now, of course, if this is the wrong employee and I selected it by accident, or if I don't have the employee in the system already, I would select the X and then manually put in the basic information. We only require you to complete the fields that have this red asterisk over there. So the other fields are helpful but not required. So if you have the time, it's definitely a benefit to put in more information. If you don't have the time or you don't have the information, then just stick to those fields with the red asterisk. Department, I'm going to select from my drop down as well as job title. And depending on the department you choose, will be the options for your job titles. So they are linked and they work together. The rest of the information is optional, so I'm going to skip ahead to my next page. Like I said, it is beneficial to enter this information. Once you do it once, the system does store all this data and you'll never have to enter it again for your employees. I do believe that most of your employees will be found by searching through the binoculars. So in that case, this won't be applicable. Once I'm done with the employee tab, I'm going to want to go to my incident tab. So I can either select on it from up here, or I can click on my next button down below. So I'm going to click next, and it's going to bring me to the page that asks me for all the information about the specific injury or incident that occurred. So of course we're going to put in a date, time. You can either select from a drop down in this case, or you can actually override it if you choose to do so, like that. The date the incident was first reported. Again, on this page as well, you only have to fill out the required fields. The other fields are just helpful later on. Was incident on employer's premises? So in most cases, you're going to select yes, and then you're going to have to put an exact location. If it is not on the employer's premises, you're going to select no and then put in the rest of the information. So let's select yes. The exact location of the incident would be, let's say, it could be a patient's room, it could be the lobby, it could be the front entranceway. This is really free form, so it allows you to be as specific as you can and get in as much information as you can. But you can type in anything. What time did the employee begin work? These are all very general, basic questions. And like I said, a lot of them are not required, but beneficial if you're trying to review or prevent it from happening again. Was anyone else involved in the incident? If the answer is no, then it will remain, the page and the questions will remain like this. If someone else was involved in the incident, I select yes. A few other questions will show up, just trying to identify who that person was. So I could say it was a resident, I could write a person's name, I could say it was a visitor, a guest, whoever it was. I would put that as much information as I can over here. And then detailed description of incident. This is always required, and you want to be as detailed as you can. I know it only looks like one small line to put in a lot of information, but the line and the area to type actually expands as you go if need be. So it's really free form. Write as much as you can about that incident so that we don't have to go back and ask those questions later on. So in this case, let's just write employee slipped on a wet floor outside patient's room and hit her head on the left side of the bed. Now I can also add in a nurse found the employee on the floor in pain. Like I said, take advantage, pardon my spelling over here or my typing, but take advantage of this space. It does expand as you go, and people are always looking for more information on the claim. So the more information you're able to put in, the better. These below yes and no questions are all optional. It helps with some of our reporting options, but like I said, if you don't have time, if you're in a rush, or if you don't have that information, it won't require you to put it in. To select the body part that was affected, you're going to click on this yellow box, and you can actually just hit the body part if you'd want to, or you can select it from this drop down here. We have a lot of very specific body parts, so you can get as specific as you'd like. As soon as you choose the body parts affected, you're going to press close diagram and go back to filling out the rest of your incident report. Nature of injury, let's say a contusion, cause of injury. In this case, it was a slip. Industry injury type. This is very broad categories that we try to put the injuries into. We just use this for reporting and identifying problem areas. So see if you could fit one of your injuries into that. If not, you can always select other. The injury type. In this case, let's say it's restricted duty. This injury type that's here on the initial incident report is going to be what's currently happening. Someone from the organization can go in later, whether it's you or someone else, and make the change if, as the injury progresses, the injury type changes. So what you're putting in initially is going to be what you know now. So right now you might think it's not a big deal and you might put it in as a medical only claim, while later on it might become restricted duty, and that's fine. Right now you put it in with as much information as you have now, and it can always be added in. Is it OSHA recordable? In your case, you're going to select no. Eventually, and hopefully soon, there will be another button here that will say unknown, which is what you're going to select. But for now, select no. Someone in your organization will be going back and correcting and double checking whether it's OSHA recordable or not. And whether it's a privacy concern, also leave as no for now. Again, these last few questions are all optional, but beneficial. Now I'm going to go to my next tab, which would be the witness information if there was one. So either I could select the witness from up here, or again on the bottom by clicking on my next button. So let's select the witness tab. If I have something to upload, possibly a witness statement, a picture of the employee on the floor, or even if there was a paper left somewhere about the incident, anything you need that you want to store with the incident or regarding the witness, you can do over here by selecting upload file. So I would just click on this, it'll open up to your computer, and you can select any document over here and save it within the injury. You can also add the witness information by selecting this plus button that says add, and then it just asks for basic info. You could put in a name, a title if there is one. None of this is required, so it's only as much information as you have. Sometimes there might be a witness, sometimes not. And again, this all can be added later on. So if you just want to get the injury into the carrier, if you just want everyone to find out about this case, if the employee needs medical treatment and you want to make sure the case gets in, that's not the time to start investigating this information. We can always go back later and add it in. The report completed by is by default the name of the user who logged in and is reporting this will show up here. If it ever has to be changed, if someone's using your credentials, they can always just type in their name. And then the reported date is the date that you're filling out this report. So now that I'm done with my witness information, I'm going to want to review all the information I put in so far. So any of the fields I completed are here. I could do a quick review. If I find something's wrong, I can always hop back to one of my previous tabs. And then when I like the way it looks, I will click on submit. Now from submit, I'm going to select this button, which is to submit it to the insurance carrier. And that way I don't have to report it to them separately. Now I also have the option of adding in a note. So I could put in a title like, it could be anything. It could be, who was on duty. It could be what the employee was doing at the time. Any other note that I want to remember about the case that I might not have a field for in the regular incident report, I could put in here. I think this case might be fraud, or employee didn't complain until a week later, or witness won't give written statement. Literally, it could be anything. Anything that you want someone within the organization, something that you're going to want the insurance carrier to know, or even something you want to remember later yourself and you don't want to forget it, can be written here. And you also have the option to upload a document here. So any of those documents that you might think are important might need to be tied to this case. Any investigational documents or anything you have on hand that's tied to this specific case, you're going to select upload, find that document again, and then it will be stored within the injury. And as soon as you're done, you press save. So when I press save, it's sending it to the insurance carrier as well as saving it within ModWatch so that we can go back and we can keep track of the injury. We can follow up, we could take our notes, and we can make any changes that we need to make. So I'm going to press save. And right here I get a pop-up. And it's just warning me that there might be a duplicate to this injury. It may have been reported before. So I do think it's definitely beneficial to go through this list quickly and just make sure that these red flag cases are not the same injury. So what the system is doing is it's showing me any injuries that might have happened on this date, or any injury that might have happened with the same name or a similar name, or maybe even the same address, like an employee living at the same address. And it's just making sure that I'm not reporting any specific injury twice. So as soon as I went through this list and I know that it's not a duplicate, I could select yes. And if it does look like a duplicate, I would select no, and then it won't save it and it won't send it to the insurance carrier. So in this case, I'm going to select yes. Oh, I have to put a subject. I'm sorry. Look at that. I have to put a title. Incident note. And now we'll try that again. Press save. I'm going to get my duplicate warning again. And yes, I still want to report this injury. So now my injury is being sent to the carrier as we speak, as well as saving in my system. And if you look over here, automatically after reporting the injury, it brings me to my list of incidents. And right on top will be the injury that I just reported. If you ever have to search for an injury, you can always click on the header, the column header, and it will organize your injury by what you selected on. So if I want to organize my injuries by employee name, I would select on employee name. If I want to do by the date of injury, I would select the date of injury. And now it's going from oldest to oldest to newest. If I select it again, it will then bring me my most recent on top. So you could search for your injuries like that. You also have an advanced search with filters. So if you want to look for an injury from a specific department, you could select the department and press search, and then only injuries within that department will show up. And right over here is the injury that I had created today. And if I ever want to change or update or review what's going on based on the access that you have as a user, I can go select the injury, and all those details will show up over here with these little icons. So it's really simple to report an injury. You log into ModWatch, click report an injury button, just follow the prompts until your injury is saved. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me at info@modwatchsystems.com. Thanks so much.